What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Stoic Context. Today we are going to react to another Kevin Samuels video. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm going to be saving my commentary for the end of the video, so stay tuned for that.
What you got?
So I was calling it because I wanted to I was talking to Tiffany in the chat room a little bit, but I didn't get a chance to really answer your question. But this is just to you because I wanted to know, in my case, I'm a little bit older than her. I'm 39 and no kids.
She thought she was older
never
than
me. Been married. I'm sorry?
She thought she was older than me.
Who?
Tiffany. She was shocked when I told her how old I was. Be 39, never been married. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, 39, no kids, never been married. And I was just kind of thinking about your the conversation that you were having with her, and I know she came from a perspective, from a Christian perspective, and I'm a Christian too, but I'm just really starting to get into the Bible and going to church and stuff. So I'm very new at it.
Okay.
But I'm wondering, like, as far as like my chances of becoming married and having children might be pretty slim. Would you say?
Wow,
based on,
I don't know yet.
Like,
I gotta ask some questions. I don't know yet.
Okay.
You're 39. What city do you live in?
I live in the Seattle, Tacoma area, Washington State.
And you're Black?
Yes.
So some of the wealthiest Black men are in Seattle area. So the most successful Black men are in your area. You want to find successful Black men? Seattle's kind of where you go. So let's get into it. Height, weight, dress size.
Oh boy, I think this is what's gonna be the big kicker. So I'm 5'2". I'm probably a size 16 dress. And what was the other question you asked? Like weight?
Weight.
Over 200.
And you're 39?
Yes.
Any children?
No children.
Okay. Well, obviously that is going to be a huge consideration, because in a man's mind, first thing he asks is, at how tall are you? 5 what?
5'2".
5'2". 5'2". You're 2 inches shorter than normal. A man's mind logically asks the question, why is she this size? That's what a man logically says. And most people assume they see a woman your age, your weight, that you have had multiple children. That's a fair assumption. They'll assume you have multiple children. And then if you find out you don't have children, the next question is going to be, and I mean this in no disrespectful way, how did you allow yourself to get this way? Is there something medically wrong? Guys go through a complex set of stuff, but if it comes out that you're not married, no children, no like hyperthyroidism or hypo, whichever one of it, whichever Graves' disease causes you to put on weight, guys look at women your height and weight and they just assume, she's just not motivated, she's lazy, these kind of things. And the kind of guys who are high earners, they are dealing with women who are going to be, they get the best of the best.
Right.
So my question is this: what are you doing to actually drop like arguably 80 pounds? Or have you always been a big girl?
I've always been a big girl. The lowest that I've been is probably like 195, and that was about maybe 7 years ago. And I mean, I was okay then. Mind you, I was 32.
No, ma'am, you weren't okay. You weren't okay. You weren't okay at 195 pounds at 5'2". That is almost 40% BMI. That is very dangerous. It's not, see, in the Black community, we've allowed this narrative to get to the point to where it's just out of control. To where, again, no offense, to where you sound like an intelligent woman, to where you could say you were okay at 5'2", 195 pounds. Ma'am, you weigh more than I do. And I'm a foot and 2 inches taller than you. And you can't have always been this size. there was a point to where you, and I don't know why. Let me back up. Have you ever gone to any kind of counseling or therapy?
Yes, I have actually. I
So
have.
are you an emotional eater?
Um, I've never
Were you this size in
really
high school?
I was probably like 185, 190 in high school. So I've
Were
always been
you were
pretty
you raised by
big.
mom and dad?
No, just my mom.
Okay. See, a father would not have allowed his daughter to get to that size.
Hmm.
He would have known that he'd been handicapping her on the open market. So, was your mother a large woman?
Yeah, she was 5'8" and about, I think she was over 300, but she had lost the weight.
Okay.
So
And
she
do you have
got
any
down to
siblings?
probably like, okay, so I do have siblings, but they're half
I
siblings. So
mean,
they
do your
live in
mother
Texas.
any children that live with you and your mother?
No, I was the only child.
Okay. So, and how much older is your mother than you?
My mom passed away, so
Okay. I'm
she
sorry to
was
hear that.
25 when she had me.
Okay.
That's okay.
So a younger mother, and I'm going to assume that she probably didn't have a relationship during your lifetime.
I'm sorry, you
Did she
broke
have a
up.
relationship during your lifetime?
With my mom?
Did she have a man?
Oh no, no, no.
Or
She was only with my father,
so
and then after.
so when you were born, you became a sister to her, and y'all live by. So this. I've seen this in my lifetime. So here's the net of it. Whatever it is, ma'am, you are allowed to be an unhealthy weight for a majority of your life. It stands to reason that without major measures, this is the size you're going to be.
Mhm.
I mean, there's surgeries because dieting won't just get it done. You're going to have to make a wholesale life change.
Right.
So, at what point are you planning on forget husbands and everything else? At what point do you plan on doing that just so you don't die?
I'm definitely making an effort now. I'm
What does that
definitely
mean?
eating a lot healthier.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm
Are
eating
you
smaller
working?
portions.
Are you act no? What I mean, are you actually working with a nutritionist and a personal trainer and in the gym 5 days a week?
Well, in Washington State, our gyms haven't opened yet, so I
Okay,
would have to do it on my own.
Before COVID, were you in the gym 5 days a week?
No, I was not.
Okay, then you're not seriously doing anything.
Okay.
Seriously, ma'am. At this point, you're almost 40.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to start having joint problems. I mean, you've heard all these statistics.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what your mother passed from, but being at this size and having no siblings, you're out there by yourself. So it's not all these things are make it uh, affect your chances on the dating market. But your priority should be your health.
Right.
And see, by if you think your priority your health, it will show in your body, and then anybody who's actually looking for a woman can see that you're in the area. What do you do for a living?
I actually write citations for vehicles, so like a meter maid.
Okay. Um, so you'd be looking if you were to get married, you'd want a man that was making about how much money a year?
Well, I make just under six figures, so
Okay.
probably about the same, something comparable.
Okay. That's not realistic.
Okay.
I'll tell you why it's not realistic.
Why is that? I'm curious to know.
Men who make that kind of money, why would they date a woman that's 5'2" and almost 200 pounds?
Yeah. I mean, that's my last relationship was like that. And he was from Louisiana, so he moved here for me.
Okay,
Um,
and how much did he make when he
but
moved
that
there?
didn't work out.
How much did he make when he moved
I'm so-
there?
Well, he was a plumber, so his rate of pay drastically changed from
Just get,
$30 an hour in Louisiana up to now he's making like $60 an hour
how much
here.
did he make when he was moving there?
Well, he had to get his license, so he wasn't making anything for like the first couple months because he had to get his license. But then once
Just,
he gets his license,
just
then
give me
he's
the
making
number,
55.
ma'am. Just how much was he making a year, ma'am?
A year. So I mean, I think probably 105,000 a year or so. I want to say at
Okay,
least.
okay. So he was making $30 an hour in Louisiana, and then he could
Hmm.
moved up there, and then who broke off the relationship?
I did. I broke off the relationship.
Why?
He's very controlling and abusive.
Okay. Um, Let me back up. Men
Okay.
with options
Hmm.
don't move for women. Men with options don't move for women. Women move for men with options. So, however you slice it, he moved for you. So, obviously, he was under you. I don't really need to know what's going on in there, but the net of it is at your age, you got to get you need to drop 80, 90 pounds.
Okay.
And you're not going to do that with diet alone on your
Right.
own. If you have the means, when are you going to actually get in with a personal trainer, a nutritionist, maybe even have surgery if that's what's
Hmm.
required? That's really where it is. I mean,
Right.
your weight is a major issue, and
Right. And that's why I appreciate, I appreciate your honesty, more than anything. I know that it may come off harsh for some people, but for me, I need that reality check so I know
well,
what
I just
what I
don't
have
want
to
you. I
do.
don't
And I
want you
think
to die of a heart attack or diabetes or something like that. And that's what happened. I mean, you're not 22 anymore. Your body cannot
right,
handle this amount of weight and stress. And you're a city employee or a state employee or something like that.
I'm a city employee.
Okay, ma'am. I don't wish this on you, but you got to look at what's going on in the world right now. COVID,
Hmm.
all this other kind of stuff. When budget starts happening, they can automate you like that.
Hmm.
And what happens when you're writing citations? What happens if you lose that job
I
and those
lose my house.
benefits, and you lose those benefits because you have benefits, right?
Right.
Then I
Right.
suggest you use them while you have them.
Hmm. And that's the other thing, Kevin, I wanted to say, or Mr. Samuels, is that my job has Weight Watchers as an option. I mean, I know it's something, right? If I'm not able to go in to see a nutritionist,
No,
then
no,
I mean,
no,
I
no,
do
no,
have
no,
options
no,
at home.
no, 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 no. We don't take halves. You go all the way plus some. You are 40 years old and
Okay.
almost 200 pounds. I don't want to hear any halfway measures. You need to go
Right.
as hard and as far as you possibly can go to save your life.
Okay.
Don't give me this halfway. I can go eat Weight Watchers and eat smaller portions. You've been this way for since high school.
Yep.
See, this is psychological. It's more than anything else. And out some of this stuff I'm outside of my depth. That's why I suggest therapy because there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing logical or rational in what you just said to me.
Right. Right.
Danny, what's going on?
Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. So, do me a favor. Go ahead and
Mhm.
introduce yourself to everybody. Let me know your name, age, any relevant data, and then after that, I want to hear the front part of the story that wasn't in the clip. So go ahead.
Hey y'all, I'm Blue Jasmine. I don't know if many of you know me. I've been doing skits. I've been like an online entertainer for like about 2 years already. And yeah, this clip happened at 8 at the table. Yeah. Hey y'all.
How old are you? How old are you?
28.
28. So saw
28.
this. I saw the skit, but how did we get to the point to where tell everybody about the lead up, because in the first part you were saying that you guys had been together for how many years?
We were gonna be. It was like 4.5, 5 years.
All right. So from what I'm hearing, what I thought I heard is you kind of held him down, or you helped him get started in business or something like that. Tell the beginning part of the story. Do that so everybody can get kind of caught up. I'll let you tell it.
So yeah, that was the part that didn't go viral, and that probably most of the people did not see. Obviously, when I first got with this person, they were already established. They already had the mentality to be where they were going. They already had been making 6 figures on the low end. They already had owned a couple spaces. They own like clubs and stuff in the city. So they already had these things. When I got with them, they had, entrepreneurs go through ups and downs. So they had went through their that they're down in that moment when I first met the person. The first 2 years of my relationship with this person, I didn't get nothing. I got lunch and dinner and little shopping things here and there, like H&M, like nothing too crazy. But I was helping this person do the back end for no money. Like I wasn't getting paid, do the back end of their business. I got them an investment in which they didn't even have to pay back. It was more like of a barter. So they got the cash for then the person then just wanted to use the space. So they didn't even really have to put in work to pay back in cash, So I did all that. We were very close friends. And then our relationship came to we stayed friends. We talked every single day, and it dwindled down into we weren't fucking no more. We weren't doing those type of things anymore. And we were fine with it. And then eventually I started talking to people, and he would talk to people, and we would tell each other we were friends, So when he got me the apartment and the car, we were already friends, and we were already in a space where things weren't that for about 5 months. Probably it was about 5 months when he got me that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds crazy. This sounds wild to me, because what I'm hearing is a relationship where you and your, let's give him a name. Call him Carl. Would that be all right?
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. So you and Carl are together. Carl wasn't broke. He had a job. He had businesses. He had things going on. He may have been in more of a valley point in his business, but he obviously wasn't broke, and he wasn't homeless.
Right.
Y'all start dating, and you brought your skill sets to the relationship, kind of like everybody does. And you guys helped him. And would it be fair to say did he help you in any way in any parts of your professional career?
Yes, for sure. I mean, in regards to my backstory, he was a positive, one of the first positive people that I ever had in my life that kind of pushed me forward, believed in me, gave me positive affirmation, that kind of vibe, and anything and everything that I want to do. Huh?
I'm listening. I think there's a slight delay, so I'm just waiting.
Thing that I wanted to do, in regards to my career, a lot of my skits were shaking ass, and I used to work on Instagram maybe 2-3 years. He was all for it, whatever it was, whatever makes you happy,
Okay.
So for sure.
So you guys helped each other in a relationship. You had connections and things like that. You did back office things, but where it seems to kind of go off the rails is the relationship. And now you're single. You have a child, right?
Yes.
Was it before this relationship or after? Or during?
Yes, my child is a little grown. He's grown.
Okay. All right. So you guys had your relationship, your boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever we want to call it. It went through the normal cycle. And then towards the end, the things you had done to help him started help his business increase or improve, as far as what I'm hearing you say. But you guys were friends, but you were living together still, right? Or were you not living together?
Never lived together. The topic of the show was, would you give your ex back a gift? So we
Right,
never lived
right.
together. He had
So
his own separate. had
So
gotten a
how'd you get
place.
the upgrade? So as you guys were friends, and then he upgraded you to a loft and a Mercedes, right?
Well, the Benz came a little bit before the breakup, but the apartment and stuff. But he kept paying
Okay.
after, like, we're talking to
Okay.
different people,
All
paying
right.
forward.
So I want to read something real quick because I thought I heard you say it. And this is kind of what I heard in the one of the clips. It said something. I'm not going to just move out of my space because we broke up. I'm not just going to give back my Mercedes because it didn't work out. If he had wanted them back, would you have? If he had wanted the car back, would you have given it back to him?
No, so I'm glad that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case with my situation. But if he wanted it, no, I would not have given it back. I would have been like, you have to wait till the lease term is up, and when that is up, then everything is over. But you gave
Was
this
it
to
was
me
the
as
car in it? Was the car was the lease in his name?
yes.
Uh, and same thing goes for the loft. If he had wanted the loft back, would you have given it up?
No,
Is the loft in his name?
yes.
How would you have stopped that?
I was not gonna go anywhere. Like, period. I don't know. You're gonna have to figure it out. Obviously, this is the ugly side of me, and so I'm grateful that didn't happen between us. But
Well,
yeah,
I'm just saying legally. I'm not passing a judgment either way. I'm just kind of curious as to the mindset. It's like, because see, I often hear women say this kind of stuff after an engagement breaks up. They don't feel like they should give back the engagement ring.
no,
But legally, it's a gift given in the contemplation of a marriage. It's a conditional gift. Legally, you can't keep it. You're not legally required. So in your case, it sounds as though he didn't ask, but you're saying if he asked, you would have fought him for it.
of course.
Oh,
At
really?
least,
Oh, okay.
at least the first like 3 to 6 months. Um, I feel obviously he didn't fight for it, but if he was, I would have been like, no, you got to give me time. Like, not from one day to the next, I'm gonna not have anything. You know what I mean? And
Well, I
a
guess
lot of people are saying,
what I'm saying is, if he just said, "Hey, I want this space back," and I want to be clear, you're saying you wouldn't have given it up under any conditions, or you would have said, "I need 30, 60 days to move out."
I would have needed more than 60 days. He would have had to wait until I was well and able. But I feel like I would have been fair. And 3 months is expected, and I feel like 6 months is like really you're being
Expected by whom?
by me. And
And
I
you
feel
took
like just a proper thing to do as a man of like high caliber.
well,
You know what I
well,
mean?
well, well. So this is why I think where you get in some of the pushback because you're saying that you guys are cool and this and that, but if you had the money or the resources to afford the apartment or the car and we were able to put it in your name and your credit, then you could have gotten it. Because I heard what you say, he increased my lifestyle. And I heard the people say, yeah, but that was while you were together. But after you're together, you still want this elevated lifestyle. And it's now you are sounding entitled because if he'd have wanted it back, you said, I wouldn't have given it back. And it would have been wrong for him to ask. Let me reframe that. If he wanted to have sex with you, would you be wrong to say no after you broke up?
Would I be wrong? Would I
Yeah.
be wrong? No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he
I didn't give him my pussy as a gift. I didn't say, here's my pussy for
let's
doing
do
so
me a
much.
favor. Let's do me a favor. Let's keep the language kind of PG, okay?
I don't know how you want me to say, but I didn't have
Sex.
sex with gift. You know what I mean? It wasn't a gift.
But I'm not saying you
Where I
did.
felt like
Okay, hold up. I'm not saying you did. I'm just asking you to put yourself in another situation. You're saying that, that would have been the right thing to do. So I'm saying, well, let's flip the script. Let's change the positions. If he would have said, you know what? I wasn't used to having such good sex. You rocked my world. You changed everything about me. And until I can get somebody who's as good or better than you, it's only right that you allow me access to your body when I want it, at least for the next 6 months. How does that sound?
No, that's ridiculous to me.
Well, but see, I need you to understand that's how so many people are hearing what you're saying.
No, I feel like it's different. Okay, ready? Like, if let's say you and I were together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were together 5 years. And for them 5 years, I catered to you. Like whatever you needed, I assisted, I did errands, I helped, I did this, I did that. And yes, I focused on myself, but those things weren't building the revenue that would potentially pay for the things that you could afford, like my apartment, which is $4,000, and my car and my thing, which is, $1,500. So total, that's $5,500 a month. And not to say that I'm not making that money, but I'm not making that money. You know what I mean? So I feel like from you should give me a period of 3 to 6 months to get my shit together, to get my little, whatever I can afford, be it a Hyundai or my little 1-bedroom apartment in the Bronx somewhere. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Whatever that is,
Okay.
that it should be ripped away from you.
Okay. So let me reframe what you just said. If you went to work for a company and you gave them 5 years, and in that 5 years, they benefited from your creativity, from your ingenuity, they increased their profits. Mm-hmm. All these things happen. You gave them your blood, sweat, and tears, and the employment terminated for any reason. You could not continue to expect to be paid for 6 months. You would cut off at the last day of your employment. You could not go back to that office. You could not use the computer. Listen. I need you to listen. I didn't cut you off. You couldn't use the company car, the company credit card. It would end, and you couldn't say, "Well, you guys owe me this because you made so much money." That's not how it works. It's over. Do you accept that? Do you accept that in the work world? No. First off, do you accept that in the work world? That's how it happens.
The reason I don't accept what you're saying is because
in the work world,
unemployment. So because
unemployment is not paid by unemployment is not paid. First off, unemployment is not your full salary, and it's paid through the state, and you have to qualify. If you get terminated for cause, you don't get unemployment.
It's a grace period. If you lose something, you have a grace period.
If you get terminated for cause, you don't get unemployment. Meaning if you were a delinquent employee, if something was wrong, you don't get unemployment. I worked in corporate America. I was a manager and a vice president. I went and studied. I worked closely with HR. Everyone does not get unemployment. You have to listen, you have to work for a certain amount of time to qualify for a certain amount of unemployment, but it's a fraction of what you get. But the bottom line is not even about unemployment. The point is you're still getting the same benefit as if you were in an active relationship when it's over. So when I asked if he could actively have sex with you, that would be ridiculous. It'd be no more ridiculous than someone expecting to get full benefit of a company when they've been terminated or where they quit.
May I speak now?
Go ahead.
Hello.
I'm here.
I was no longer getting full benefit. It was just partial. The home and the car. I was not getting my hair, my nails, my trips, my shopping, my whole entire life anymore. It was just whatever left of it that I had, because that was what I was stuck with, the home and the car.
And also, for those who don't, I want to be clear, you were in another relationship while this is going on. All right, so this is why you're getting the pushback, that you're entitled for him to give you a grace period or get on your feet when you're with another man. And this previous man does not have access to you even partially. Does he have partial sexual access to you? If you have partial benefit? Okay, so this is why you're getting the pushback.
Okay, but my whole thing about it was we were friends for just, let's say, for them 5 months, right? Where we were established friends, and he was talking to other people and I was chatting with other people, and he was still paying like if it was fine.
But how long did he say he was going to pay? When all this started, how long did he say he was going to pay?
He does. He doesn't have a problem paying it.
But so what I'm saying is, when you were friends, before you started really kicking with anybody else, how long did he say, I'll put you in this apartment, in this car?
It was never really like talked about. It was just like,
Do
here,
you
this is
ever expect it to end?
I at that point, when I first got it, no, I didn't. I didn't think about that part.
Okay, so
I
let
just
me
thought
go. Let me go ahead and be a little ridiculous there. You guys were together 4 or 5 years, right?
Mhm.
So you didn't think so. You thought what you're saying is this could have gone on for 20 years.
So I just thought, as long, like, I helped him continuously with business like if he had business questions or I just thought that as long as I was there to assist him in those type of things, and things were going well for him, and et cetera, that it would just be what it was. Like, I didn't.
Well, if that's the case, man, but whatever business you were helping him with, was it mission critical to the organization, to mean if you didn't do it, the business was going to fail?
That I didn't say that again.
Was whatever you were helping him with so critical to where if you did not do it, the business would fail?
No, not at all.
All right. So thank you. So whatever you were doing, nice as it was, wasn't critical to the success of the business. So listen. How it's coming across is I'm doing something to get this benefit, and you're not. You're getting a benefit from a relationship that was over. And even though you were friends, you were expecting to go into perpetuity, no end in sight. And if he came to you and said it ends, you would have fought him for it. And you say about being friends. How is that a friend?
Well, I just feel like until the lease term is up, like now the lease term is up next month.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be putting it in my name. The lease for my car is up soon. So I'm going to go get a new car. But
soon meaning how soon meaning how soon? How soon?
Like for with the apartment is next month. The car I got 19 and it was like a 3-year lease. So soon.
So next another year and a half?
Yes, or another year, I think.
Okay. And you currently have and what I heard is you currently had a boyfriend, and he's all right with this. And what I think I heard you say was,
no, I have a man. I mean, he's not really okay with it.
But let me finish what I was saying. He said that I kind of had the attitude, we can stack our paper while we got this grace period.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, ma'am, I really wasn't passing any kind of judgment, but I got to ask, as a woman who has a son,
mm-hmm.
They ask you, how would you feel if a woman with your son, you said if he had enough money to take care of it, I'd be cool with it? Does that still stand?
I personally, even though people around me tell me like, oh, don't teach your son that or whatever, I personally always teach my son, like, we had a conversation the other day, if you can't afford a girlfriend, you shouldn't have one, even though he's very young, like he wanted to buy her a gift. You don't do anything, you know what I mean? So I want to teach him to be the type of man that I would expect,
Okay.
Not like it's something different. So if my son was to sign a contract for 2 years to put a woman in a car, like, I'm getting this gift for you, it's for 2 years, and their relationship doesn't last those 2 years, if she doesn't cheat, call the police on him, do anything to like degrade his character or him and bring him down, I feel like it is his responsibility to stick to that commitment. You made that. You should have never put that woman in that car. You should have never signed.
Okay. That's what I wanted to ask you about. So I want you to pay attention to what I'm about to say.
Mm-hmm.
You said that basically, if he signed it, he should have been able to foresee any potential consequence. Basically, don't sign it if you're not going to live all the way up to it.
A million.
Okay. All right. So if he were to get married, he met a woman and then married in 30 days, you still would expect him to pay for it?
You're going to have to take it up with your wife. I'm going to take it up
with your wife. His wife is going to say no. His wife, who's his legal wife, I'm asking. So what I'm saying is basically the way you've constructed this, man, is you're right. First off, you said that as long as she doesn't cheat, this and that, you're going back between friendship and relationship. The way you said it, you guys are friends. So you got a whole relationship and you're kicking it with somebody hard who you say you put above everything else, including this guy. But you're holding this guy to a standard of, you got to still be my friend that you signed this contract on. But you're not being a friend. If he said, I don't want to do this anymore, you said you would fight him.
I would. I don't take that back. I would. I feel like me, even as a woman, if I had, like, me and my friends, we trick on each other all the time. Like, if I'm in the store, I see something. So me as a woman, if I was a man and I wrote I just feel like it's right. Like, it's the correct thing to do. You should never.
It's the correct thing. So basically, hold somebody strictly to the letter of the contract, because he signed the lease for a car. He didn't get the legal lease was between him and the leaseor. You were nowhere in this deal. He just let you use it.
The insurance was under my name. The registration was under my name.
Okay. But the reason the car left the lot is because of his credit and his down payment.
Mm-hmm.
I could register it in a parakeet's name if I want to. And I could put it in a cat's name if I want to. What I'm saying is, listen, you're saying that he made this agreement. And your agreement sounds as though it's an open-ended agreement that is up to you. How is that fair to a friend?
It is until the lease term is up, because that is what I was.
So till the lease term is up. So that's where we keep going. See, that absolves you of accountability and responsibility. But what if he has a girlfriend? What if something happens? What if he just changes his mind? Because, due respect, let me flip it. If you decided to say, you know what, I'm good with this. For whatever reason, I'm going to move out of the apartment and I'm going to give you the car back. Do you think he would? I mean, you think he'd say, no, you can't leave. You got to stay and you got to keep this car until the lease term is up. It's your responsibility. How would that sound?
If I no longer wanted it? How would it? I don't know what you mean. I don't.
If you no longer wanted it, would you expect him to take the car back in the lease on the apartment?
And forced me to stay with it?
No.
Sorry,
if you decided hello?
Yeah, I hear you.
If you decided you wanted to just end it, I don't want me and my men are going forward. We're like, we don't want the car anymore. We don't want the lease on the loft anymore. Do you think it would be all right for him to say, no, y'all got to stay there. You need to stay there to the end of the term, and you need to keep this car till the end. Force you to keep it. If you wanted to give it back, would it be all right for him forcing you to try to stay there?
Yeah, but I'm sorry, I'm just confused because I don't get how that would be.
Well, I'm asking you, man, if you wanted to give it back, do you think it would be okay for him to say, I'm not taking it back. You got to keep it.
Sure, I'll keep it then. I don't know.
But see, my point is, ma'am, that sounds ridiculous. If you wanted to give it up, you could give it up, but he can't give it up. You're in an agreement too. See, everything benefits you. If he made an agreement for the lease term, he has to stick by the lease term. Well, that same agreement holds you. But if you wanted to give it up, you could give it up. Same thing for the apartment or the loft. If you got to stick to the term. But if I wanted to get out of it, I could give it back. This is why people are saying you're entitled.
I just feel like it was a gift. There's levels to, gift giving and the type of.
Well, you can feel like it was a gift, man, but legally you have no leg to stand on. You can feel I mean, I'm not going to contest your feelings, but legally, what state are you in, by the way?
New York.
You have no leg to stand on. If he wanted that car back, that wouldn't be a doggone thing you could do. He could actually send the sheriff to pick that car up Monday. And you couldn't say a doggone thing.
Long story short, they're going to have to catch. They're going to have to catch me.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Because every car, listen, man, every car just has a leak. They have remote kills on these cars. And then today, the unit you're in, you're not on it. You don't even have squatters' rights in New York. You'd be forcibly evicted by the sheriff in 72 hours. Your property would be on the street. they would forcibly come in, remove your stuff. Remember Beyonce's
Well,
to the left, talk about get your stuff in the box. You have no, I'm just letting you know, ma'am, you have no legal leg to stand on. So you saying you'll fight him sounds good to everybody else, but it's a court case. And you have no legal standing. It's not
well,
yours.
thank God it's because they can't kick nobody out until August. Just saying.
No, ma'am. See, the thing is, they can put you out because you're not a lease. So you're not on the lease. You're effectively you're a guest. See, you have no legal standing.
No.
Ma'am.
Legally in New York, the
Okay.
person who's on the lease can have like one spouse, one family, and one regular person living there. That's not on the lease.
But you're still not. You have no legal. Okay, ma'am, you're misinterpreting the law. You have no more right. No offense, ma'am, than a pet. That would be like saying your cousin could come move into your place, and because of COVID, you couldn't put them out. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. So I think why you're getting pushback, ma'am, is why you're getting pushback is I haven't heard anything in you saying, yeah, I could understand. It's like he has to stick to his word no matter what. And it's an open-ended agreement, all to my benefit. And that is massively entitled. I mean, do you see anything that you're not necessarily that you're doing wrong, or that in hindsight, would you do this again?
For this long period, like a year time frame, I mean, he don't have a problem with bills, but I do still want to stick up for all girls. Like, let's say I was to get with a football player, or just a millionaire person and stay with them. And this is a skill that I can't learn or help them. So I'm no true benefit to them. You know what I mean? Because they have their own talent, their own skill that has nothing to do with me. And I was to live a lifestyle for 4 years, 5 years. And then we broke up for whatever reason. And there was no foul, no harm in between. Yeah, I'm not leaving this house. You're going to have to.
No, ma'am. See, that's where you're wrong. That's where you're wrong. You're leaving. You're leaving because the relationship is over. If there's an engagement ring, you're giving it back, or you're going to end, or you could be sued in small claims court. See, we say a lot of stuff in relationships, but what you're saying is if he elevates my lifestyle and he increases the way I'm doing, I don't just get that. I get that like spousal support, like palimony. So basically what you're telling men is don't ever do anything for a woman that you're not prepared to do until she says stop. No, so don't get upset when men don't want to buy anything, don't do anything, buy a purse, buy a pair of shoes, because once you elevate a woman in a relationship, if all women start thinking like you, then when the relationship is over, then women are legally are thinking men are obligated to maintain that.
No, all right, not really about maintaining it, because like I said, I wouldn't expect the bags, the shopping, the trips. It was just my home and my car. Those are my basic.
Those not. Oh man, see, ma'am, you keep saying it's just. It's not. It's just. You said you can't afford to pay for it, so apparently it's substantial enough that you can't do. Rather, he has what you're doing is you're still spending his money. It's not your money. You got the benefit being in the relationship and the friendship, either or. But if the ships end, it should stop. If the relationship or the friendship stops, you're saying I still get it because of all the work I did while I was there. If that's what you want, ma'am, you should have been his wife, not his girlfriend. Then you might have some legal claim. What you're effectively trying to do is get alimony and spousal support for a girlfriend.
Isn't that palimony?
I know, that's why I called it palimony. But where do you go get palimony in this country? It gets thrown out of court because you have no. Yes, that's the term is called palimony, and it only stands in one state in this country. Most jurisdictions laugh that out, New York being one of them, because you're not giving. See, it would be different, ma'am. It would even be different if you guys had a child together, or, I mean, I would just say most people could even see it differently. If you didn't have a boyfriend, you got a whole man. It just sounds like you're using the situation, and whether he's okay with it or not, you said this is the right thing to do. Why is this right?
Why is it what? I'm sorry, your
You
phone
said
broke up.
you said the right thing to do. You guys are not together.
Mhm.
Why is what you're doing right?
The phone is breaking up.
Okay.
Why is what? What is the question?
Why is what you're doing right? Why is what you're doing right?
Because I feel like what I'm doing is right, because if we allowed men with money to just take women and bring them to a space and then take it away from them from 1 second to the next, that's toxic. That's like financial abuse. Like, you have to give somebody time to adjust, time. I'm not saying a whole year, I'm not saying forever, but you're not just gonna be out here giving and taking away.
Ma'am, you're not in a relationship. You were together for four. You were together for 4 years, ma'am. You said you guys are friends for 5 or 6 months. How much time do you need to if you're no longer his girlfriend, you should not be getting girlfriend benefits. How long would you need?
I have a question.
Okay, but
okay, I get it.
How long? Okay, I'll answer your question. But how long would you need before you think it's fair to leave or be done with it?
I think for a man who's of like high, like in that bracket, who can afford it. Obviously, if the person can afford it or puts a hunch in their life, you don't want to like do that. But I think like 3 months is expected if you were truly in a good relationship with this person. And 6 months is like you're being a really nice guy. Like, you're like, you're really, really good. But I feel like 3 months is like, that's fair.
What was your question?
My question is, how about if it's like, so he was doing this as a friend. So how about just like men in society taking on the role to assist women and like separate from friendship or sexual relationships?
No,
like
it's called no. Hold on. Are you equal to a man?
Equal to a man in regards to?
In any regards.
Well,
are you an equal citizen?
I'm an equal citizen, yes.
Do you have equal voting rights?
Yes.
Do you have equal protection under the law?
Energetically, I feel men are strong.
No, ma'am. You have equal. Okay, but see, what you have is what women fought for: equality and independence.
Yeah, that's good for them.
So no. But see, what you're asking is
why? I told them I wanted that.
Hold on. But the answer specifically to your question is protecting men protecting women without women giving anything. That is an unfair deal. That is why relationships are falling apart, because women asking what you want. Take care of me, but I don't have to do anything for you or even have sex. You want a man to provide for you? It's called a husband. Why didn't you marry him? Why didn't you marry him if you wanted all of these protections? Why didn't you marry him if you wanted all these benefits? That's the way to do it, right?
I don't know. Everybody's different, I guess.
No. Legally, that's the way to do it. It's called spousal support, alimony. No, not everybody's not differently. Legally, if you want some rights, that's the way to do it. You know that. Do you get child support? Did you get child support for your child?
No.
Okay. But you know what child support is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wanted, so you could have married the father. You could have done, if you wanted some help. See, my question is, why don't women like yourself do it the normal way?
What's the normal way?
If you want a man to protect you, provide for you, and provision for you, you become his wife.
Mm. But it don't always got to be like that. And it's obvious because I'm proof of that.
Oh, you're proof. You're proof of some things. Proof that this is that no matter what we give to women, it's never good enough, because now you're asking for men of the society to take care of women and get nothing back. Why should men do that?
I don't really feel like getting nothing back. Like,
Well, you said, why should men protect women, do this or that, and then not in exchange for, and then you said something about and not get sex. What were you referring to?
It's non-sexual relationship. Like,
Okay.
let's say
Mm-hmm.
you and I, we're close friends, and you're wealthy, or you're in a space where you're able to assist
Mm-hmm.
me, and you feel like I deserve that. So
Mm-hmm.
so you do it. And I feel like, what's wrong with that?
Because that breaks the social contract. So I should do this for men too?
Men are different.
No. I got friends. We're good friends. So I should do it for friends. No, ma'am. No. Listen, ma'am. Way you told the story, set it up, is I'm just rich, so I got enough money, so I should just take care of you as a female, this guy as a male. It just doesn't matter. I take care of everybody because I've got it.
No, I think that it's like I think it's based on like me and you see. Sorry, because I got like stuck real quick. Me and you see things different. So you're like, uh, men and women, they fought for this and they fought for this, and they're equal, and that's cool. Yeah, they're equal, but I'm a little bit old school where I do like.
No, old school would be a wife. Old school would be a wife. Old school would be a wife. See, old school women wouldn't do what you do. There's no way in the world.
Yeah,
no, ma'am. Listen, I'm not trying to be insulting, but I need you to listen. You cannot go back and find women 60, 70, 100 years ago who expected men to pay for them when they were in a whole nother relationship with another man.
I get it. It's a little different, but it's my life. So it's just like,
no,
I can only speak from.
No, see, it's your life, but I find it interesting some of the words you've used earlier. You started kind of trying to use shaming language, like this is toxic, this is abusive. What you have is toxic entitlement. And it's the height of what's wrong with the feminist movement and modernist theories. You as a woman feel as though a man, just because he has it and you knew him for a period of time, you're entitled to it because he's got it and he won't miss it. It doesn't matter whether he'll miss it or not. It's not yours. See, ma'am, that's akin to socialism or communism, but it only works one way: men to women, a wealth transfer. And my question is, why don't you? Okay, that's not even close to being logical or reasonable. I do have a couple of questions though. I saw on your Instagram something about the voice of party girls. What was it? Are you on OnlyFans?
City girls, pretty girls, hot girls.
Are you on OnlyFans?
Yes, I am.
All right, got a question for you. Is that a good part of your? Let me just ask this: what do you think about OnlyFans transitioning into mainstream? How do you think that's going to affect your OnlyFans experience?
Yeah, I'm just gonna figure out another way to hustle it out using OnlyFans. It doesn't necessarily have to be, you know what I mean? I offer more than what. It was just the easiest way to get money, but OnlyFans I can use OnlyFans for so many things.
So the easiest way to get money, is that always
things? I have Airbnb businesses.
So let me ask you a question. It's an easy way to get money, granted, but as a conscientious adult, where does doing the right thing come in?
In regards to OnlyFans?
Well, an easy way to get money, and I'm hearing easy way to get money, and I'm thinking of this situation you have, and it sounds like an easy way to keep a car and a loft versus getting out there and hustle and get it yourself and take care of yourself and have your man take care of you as it should be. I think you're defending your point as best as you can, but I really don't think that you believe that this is right. The right way that I don't think you'd want your son doing this.
I think it would be honorable if he did it for 3 months. Like I said, 3 months is
honorable. You keep saying honorable as if a man doesn't, honorable doesn't mean foolish, ma'am. Where's your honor? Where's your honor as a woman to say this is not right to take from a man when I'm with another man? Where's your honor as a woman?
I don't know. That's why I'm the voice of the city girls, the pretty girls, and the hot girls. I guess that's where that comes in.
Okay, so are you saying you don't have any honor?
I'm not giving the stuff back. It was a gift. The question.
Are you? I'm asking, ma'am. I'm not questioning that. I'm just simply asking you. You mentioned his honor. I'm asking you, where's your honor as a woman?
I don't know. What, in regards to? It would be honorable to give the stuff back that was gifted to me.
It wasn't gifted, ma'am. I asked you. You said it would be honorable for a man to do X, Y, Z, and I'm asking you, where does honor come into where you move as a woman in all things?
When I was loyal to them and I did all the things, that was where the honor came in, and that's why I deserve the things that I received. Mm-hmm. And I feel like
you deserve those things in perpetuity until you decide they should end. But he can't decide when they end because that would be dishonorable.
I'm sorry, you broke up.
You deserve them in perpetuity until they end, but because that's honorable, but yet he can't decide when they end because that will be dishonorable. All right, Jasmine, 3, 2, 1, you're in. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. All right. Phone charged up?
I'm on the computer now.
All right, cool. Do me a favor. Your head's a little bit cut off, so you might want to. There we go. So I was saying that I think that this is a little unfair. It's a lot unfair. I mean, what do you think? What if women move like you in the dating market? How do you expect the men to act?
To do what?
If women move like yourself in the dating market, meaning don't elevate my lifestyle, don't introduce me to anything new or do anything for me that I'm not already accustomed to, because if this is over, you're going to have to keep me this way.
But
how do you think that's going to impact the dating market?
I'm not saying you have to keep me this way forever. I think it's a period of time.
Okay, how long though?
I feel like 3 months.
3 months after the relationship ends?
Yes. I would expect 3 months, but I feel like 6 months you're being like you're a really good guy if you were to do 6 months. But 3 months, like something like you have to do this, or make your life hell. Oh, I'm kidding.
Make your life hell? You want to make my life hell? I got lawyers and I got knee breakers. I got shit for people like you.
If me and you have no bad, why you rather pay lawyers than help me?
No, I got other folks that would make sure that you wouldn't make my life hell.
And I got them folks too.
But see, that's the point. We don't need to go to that. You just make sure that you go do what you got to do and I do what I got to do, because it ain't that. See, that's not healthy. But when you decide to try to go violent against the man, you expect the man to just take it? No, I got shit too. But what's the point? See, my stuff is my stuff and your stuff is your stuff.
And then
let me ask you a question. That's not going to be a fruitful conversation. How does this work out? Do you get a certain amount of months per the amount of years you involved, or what?
Do you get what? Repeat that.
How does that work out? How does the math work out? You get 3 months for how long do you have to be involved with somebody before you get 3 months minimum? 6 months.
If I'm not married, but if I'm in a relationship with someone for 10 years, you're not giving me 3 months. Like, you're gonna have to give me.
But we're not talking about marriage. See, I asked about marriage earlier.
No, I didn't mean marriage. I'm sorry. I didn't mean.
But I asked about marriage earlier because that's normal. That's how we know how to deal with stuff. But the situation you talk about, where this 3 and 6 months come from? How long of a relationship are we talking about?
I feel like for the time period that I like 3 to 5 years, 3 to 5 years, I feel like 3 months is good. Like now, if I'm with someone for 10 years, like you're gonna have to give me a year, because if I dedicated my life to you for 10 years and you
Mhm.
were the breadwinner and you never, like, a lot of times men, when they have
Does
more
that
money,
happen even if you leave?
if I have money and he leave,
No. If you leave the relationship, you get this payout.
it's if it's like an even kind of thing. Like if I leave, it's because I should have a plan ready, right?
No.
Like
What I'm
women's.
asking is if 80% of divorces or breakups are initiated by the women. So what I'm saying is if you leave the relationship after 5 or 10 years, do you still get paid out?
Hmm. I think, I mean, it's a case by case. I think it depends. Like if he cheated on me and I left him, like you did wrong. You know what I mean? If
See,
I
what you're basically talking about is having no fault divorce for for boyfriend girlfriend situations. That's what you're
I
talking
feel
about.
but
You're literally talking about palimony. All right, but my question to you: that doesn't exist in a legal framework that you can do anything about. You can talk and you can cap and you can say, "I got this, I got," but at the end of the day, the kind of men you're talking about have more money, more resources, and thereby more ways to protect themselves than you do. So you can't win that. So
well,
let's
I
move that
think
to the side.
as
Let's move that
a
to the
woman,
side. Why not just get married?
so am I supposed to ask him to marry me? Like if there's no marriage involved for whatever reason, what's the difference? That's my
Hmm.
point. What's the
Let me
difference?
stop right
Marriage is
there.
the
Let me stop right there. Let me stop right there. I'll answer that question. If you want some sort of guarantees on the event of a breakup, then the only way that happens is through marriage. And that will put the accountability on you to only date men who are marriage minded. But see, that would mean you would have to be a wife first.
mm-hmm.
The way you have it set up is you can date a man who has resources. And you don't necessarily have to be a wife first in order to be found by a husband. And you still get some sort of a payout on the back end. No,
Yes,
that's
because we play husband and wife. You know how this is. It's 2021. No one's
no,
really
not
getting married.
playing as
But that don't
there's
mean
no
we
playing as husband and wife. If you had a
but
guy
that
that
don't mean
had a,
that
if you had a
real
guy that had, okay, I'm gonna let you go ahead and speak. Go ahead.
in real life we out here doing that. Like men expect certain levels of commitment and loyalty and actions that come with being a wife versus being a girlfriend.
Yeah,
And
but see,
women,
but hold on, ma'am. Let me respond to that. But here's the difference, man. When the relationship is over, all that stops. So do all the benefits of that relationship.
not when you
That's what
with
happens if you're not a
not
wife.
if you was with me.
What?
I'm here to say not if you was with me. Like
Well,
period.
and see, that's the so men need to avoid dealing with women like you if they don't want to deal with this. Because due respect, we haven't even talked about it. You brought another man's child into this relationship. So this man had to be responsible for dealing with you and somewhat provisioning for a child.
Mm-hmm.
That means he's taking care of one man's responsibility, and then after y'all break up, he's taking care of another man's responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it would be simple to either not deal with women like you, or if you're going to act this way, it's not right, man. I don't want to say that other part, but
No, that's okay. Respectfully, every man that I have been with, while I have been with them, they have elevated during that period of time. And I'm not just saying that. So it's
well,
like it depends on the type of woman you are and what you know what I
but
mean?
if they
How
elevate it, man, why? See, they elevate it because they're going to elevate anyway. Just like you said, you helped him with his business and things like that afterwards. And I ask you, the things you did, were they so critical that if you didn't do them, the business would have failed? What you're trying to
well,
basically say is you're responsible for his success. Let me ask you a very simple question. I'm gonna ask you a really simple question, okay? What you're basically saying is you owe me. You owe me for my time, my body, all these things I spent. That's what you're ultimately saying. You owe me, and what I've gotten from you isn't equal to what you owe me. How much money do you think he owes you?
I think that my bare necessities should be covered for 3 months or up to 6 months. It's different depending on your lifestyle and what somebody really brought to the table. You know, he could have put me in a condo that was $10,000 a month, and so
So
if that's
you
what
said
you
yours,
did,
so these necessities are $6,000.
that I have currently have.
So I thought you said your lease was like 45 or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
So
around
like,
there.
and your car,
It's like
5,500.
Mm-hmm.
So he owes you $36,000 roughly. So
Basically.
All right, and you've been in this law for how long?
It's going on 2 years in November.
All right, and that law was $4,500. $4,500 a month.
Well,
Times 40, hold
the
on,
lease was
40.
only 18 months, so
Okay, 18 months, but you've been in there for 2 months. But you've been in
for
there
two
for
years.
2 years. So it's been 18 months or 2 years.
Well, 2 years. I haven't hit 2 years yet. It's been.
Okay,
It's been
let's just give
yeah,
it
no,
18 months. 18
yeah.
months, okay? 18 months. 18 months. That's $81,000 just in that alone. So you owe him $45,000 today. He's already paid you. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. He's already paid you. If he owed you, oh, listen. I went with your logic. If he owes you 6 months, he paid that. See, that's my point. Even after it was paid, you're still entitled until you don't want to have it anymore. You're not even close to being fair. Even in your scenario.
Until the lease term is
That's
up.
not what you no, ma'am. It was very clear. You said 3 to 6 months. So that that's why
the 3 months, that's the proper thing to do. But
ma'am, there's no proper thing to do with a woman like you. Ma'am, there's no proper thing to do with a woman like you because you are slick, you're fast and loose with stuff, and you're used to getting your way. You're a manipulator. That's who you are. Then you'll use words like toxic and this and that, hustle, city girl. There's no way to be even right with you. So here's the thing. I don't know what you believe in, but at 28 years old, I'm going to say something. Young lady, karma is real, whether you like it or not. And this is going to catch up to you one day. You're wrong.
But wait, if
hold on, ma'am. Hold on. Let me just say, ma'am, this man did right.
So
listen, let me say what I have to say and I'll let you say what you have to say. I guarantee you. Ma'am, this man did right by you in the relationship. And y'all were together. Afterwards, y'all became friends. You haven't said he did anything wrong, but you're treating him as though he is still your property and that he owes you something that you can't substantiate. You're just taking his money. Go ahead.
And I guess he likes it because.
Okay. And that's why I said, where's your honor as a woman? And I said, where's your honor as a woman? Because I said, you talking about honor. And I said, where's your honor as a woman? Because even going according to you, 3 months to 6 months, ma'am, you've had this for a year and a half or 2 years. And that's not even including the car. You got a whole man living up in there talking about we put in new mattress and new TVs. This is going to catch up with you one day because you won't always be 28. 28 will turn to 30. 30 will turn to 35. 35 will turn to 40. There's no more hot girl summer, no more city girl, nothing. There'll be a new model out there with a new software.
And then I may be a cougar since I believe
well,
in this.
Here's the only way you're going to be a cougar is it, but ma'am, I'm not trying to be funny, but I need you to listen. Seriously. Because I don't even know what your profession is. I asked you about OnlyFans transitioning to mainstream. That's going to happen quickly. They always do. So what's going to be your sustainable revenue source until the rest of your life if you can't do this kind of stuff or whatever you're doing right now? We all have to grow up. We all have to take care of ourselves to where we're not relying upon, well, maybe not. Maybe not.
Hopefully not.
So are you open to being in a, so if you were dealing with a quote unquote high value man, you would have no problem with him having options, right?
I mean, I've been in that situation. So
No,
no.
I'm asking, would you have any problems with it? Him having other women?
To an extent, no. To an extent, no. Like if I'm the one being taken care of,
yeah,
and I'm
obviously,
like,
obviously, you're primary, but he has others.
Yeah, as long as he's not like spending money on them, you know, like dinners and here for sex or whatever.
No, he's gonna have to spend some money on her. He got to spend some money on her. He's not spending as much money as he's spending on you, but he got to spend money on her.
Like how much percentage compared
well,
to
Bill
me?
Bill Gates had his girlfriend. He had to spend some money. You get a house. See, gentlemen, what I told you, women don't care about the options like you think they do. They care about the money. I told you that women care. See, you don't want her to have a house like you. So if you have a house, she doesn't get a house, but she has to have some place for them to go do what they do.
Obviously, if I just feel like if he's a man of high value, that's just what comes with the territory of it, you know, like they're just gonna want to do whatever they want. They're just gonna roam free. It's just how that's just what comes with it.
But here's the hardcore. But here's a hardcore question. You're unmarried, no children. I mean, not unmarried, and what I'm hearing is you've been kind of living this party girl life, the city girl life. If you don't secure a high value man, you may be able to play in these high value lifestyles, but once your youth and your beauty is gone, so will your ability to attract men like this. Then what? That's a reality for all women. Huh?
I can say I lived it when I did.
Okay, but how you going? But how are you preparing for the future? Are you going to have any money put aside, any investments?
I mean, yeah, I do that. I'm not just here.
Okay.
Not making.
I'm not saying you don't. I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, like Instagram is just one of the ways that I make money. You know what I mean? So I definitely have like outside ways that are not even advertised on Instagram. Like that have nothing.
Do you ever plan on having any kind of relationship with a man that's traditional? Meaning, do you ever plan on being a wife in the future?
Of course.
Legal. I mean, what I mean by like a legal wife, state contract, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want children? Any more children in the future?
I don't know. If my man could afford to pay for my body, I'll do it. But I don't really want to.
Okay. Well, I wanted to make sure I got to talk to you because I saw a lot of stuff, and I'll just tell you flat out. You already heard. I think you're wrong. I think you know that what you're doing is unfair. But you know, he has apparently, if what you're saying is true, he knows everything. It's all above board. He has no problem paying for it. Fair exchange is no robbery. He's free to do what he wants to do with his money. But I will say that it sends a bad sign to men to hear women like you say, don't do nothing for me that you don't plan on maintaining for months after the relationship is over.
Necessity and contractual. Like if it's like a contract
you can't do. I mean, ma'am, that's not how life works when you're a girlfriend.
A home and a car, like a home especially. You know what I mean? Like,
ma'am, I get what you're saying, but it's not going to work because there's no different than these women who sit around and say you were in here with another woman, so we got to buy a new bed, a new house, new this, new that. Y'all act like men, like money grows on trees. And here's the reality, ma'am. You ladies you're pricing yourself out of the market. The guys who will deal with that, who have the resource to deal with, will go get a different kind of woman, a woman who's not so entitled, a woman who's far more humble, a woman who's definitely listen. No, I wouldn't be surprised. Do you think? Oh, let's be clear. Let's be clear, Ma. Do you think I don't know what I'm talking about? I'm Sitting up in a
I mean,
damn.
I've dated
Come on.
men with money. You know what I mean? So
And
I'm
and
not saying
I'm
you
a
don't
man
know what
with
you're talking about
okay.
that.
I'm not going to go there. But look, man, I know what I'm talking about. I know men with money. I'm not. What I'm saying is, unfortunately, they don't marry women like you. They play with women like you.
Sometimes.
Okay. I hope it works
You
out
know,
for you. But
tell
here,
me the truth. Tell me the truth, Kevin. There's a lot of men that got money that they're conservative on the outside, but they love that ratchet. You know what I mean? They love a woman who has
yeah, it's
like
called an
friends.
escort. It's called a sugar baby, but you're not going to be the primary wife. You'll be on a
I'll
budget.
take sugar baby. I don't know about escort, but
Well, whatever. The bottom line is you're an employee until he gets rid of you. I get it, but the problem is once you age out, it's over. I get it. I got no problem with the sugar lifestyle and all that stuff. But once it's over, it's over. And what you're ultimately saying is it's all fair and it's cool. I like it that way because then you can't blame anybody for what happens down the line. It's all fair. You were signing up for a lifestyle to where it's kill or be killed. You know the rules of the jungle. Good. Run. But if you get caught, killed, and eaten, don't blame nothing. That's
I don't
fair.
think.
They
Yeah, I
never
don't think I
do.
would. I mean, I come from the bottom, so I mean, anything else is up.
Well, I get it, but eventually, and it's hard to go from that to having a traditional, healthy, functioning relationship because that that singular me against the world mentality doesn't tend to make healthy relationship patterns. I mean, it's exciting,
And
but
it's also hard to go from like high value men to like just
well, now, you
regular
keep
people
saying
to
high value. I'm going to say high earning.
tradition.
I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
High
okay.
value
Earning.
men, high earning. Well, but the problem is, it doesn't matter. You going from them to nothing, but you're not getting anything except trinkets and baubles. I mean,
Hmm.
if the guy's paying your rent and car, he's doing it.
I mean, that's
Maybe it's a tax
we can.
write off. It doesn't matter. But the point of the matter is, it's sending a bad. Enjoy it while you can, but I would say this. I get why people were saying what they were saying because not once in this thing have you sounded the least, not one. What I'm really listening for, man, like I said, I really haven't tried to be judgmental, but I'm going to make one judgment. And my gripe with you is not once during any of this conversation have you sounded the least bit grateful. You've been
Great.
grateful to this man, this situation, grateful, gratitude. You sound as though
No,
you owe this to me.
no, I am grateful, but we were talking hypothetical if other situations was to occur.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, obviously, in that battle state. But I
So if
am
a
grateful.
man, so if you were grateful and he said, "I need to end this now," a grateful person doesn't say, "I ain't moving, I ain't doing this, I'm not doing that. You got to fight me." So you can try to weave that. It's not going to work, ma'am. You're not grateful. You feel like he owes you this.
So where that grateful person gonna go? Not talk about me
See,
because I
see,
got
see,
my bills
see. That's the
paid.
point. See, a grateful person
But
doesn't. A great. See that.
but
See.
speaking for the
Thank
other
you.
women,
Thank you. No. Thank you. Thank you. Ungrateful gentlemen. Don't. Thank you. You're still worried about you. A grateful person says thank you for what it was. It's no different than if you talk about religion and the devil tried to bet God and he said the only reason Job praises you so much is because your protective edge, your hedge. You remove that hedge from him, he'll curse his maker. God removed all the blessings. And what did Job do? He said, we made God, the Lord give it, the Lord take it away. But bless the Lord. I'm glad for what I had. You're not sitting back saying, where do I go now? You have to be thankful for what you have. You don't sound the least bit grateful, which makes people
so
harden
you
towards, listen, man, which makes people think ill of your points, even if they try to understand where you're coming from. There's no gratitude. You still
so you I
owe.
have a so you feel as if a woman was to help you build your business in whatever way, and then let's say you were making 300,000 and now you're making 500,000 in a matter of like a year and a half or two difference, right? um you wouldn't offer her like a severance package?
No, because first of all, I'll tell you why. First of all, because I'm going to be successful on my own anyway. But let's take it your way. If you want a severance package, you need to be a wife. If you want a severance package, you need to say up front, I'm doing this under the express condition that if this relationship ends for any cause, I get a severance package. And then you let me decide whether or not I need your help.
And he should say when he gets you the car.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
But if
Because no, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. But the way you put the situation is when the relationship is over, can she decide to get something else? That would be no different than a man saying, "All right, I took you. We were together, and I took you to Barcelona, Spain, such and so forth. Blah blah. I'm gonna need this back. I'm gonna need that back. I'm gonna need this back. I'm gonna need that back. It's over." No, ma'am. See, this is why you represent modern women very well. You don't understand men. You don't know us men, and to you this seems right and fair. You start talking about things about toxic and you wanted to go into the patriarchy and all this other kind of stuff, and I'm like, who do you think you're sharing the planet with? And I'm thinking if you're raising your son to think this way, he's going to be submissive to a woman. How's he going to make anything if he's going to end up giving it all away to a woman who feels like he owes her because she decided to be a woman to him? You want to be paid for being a girlfriend even when you're not a girlfriend. So here's what I would say. Thank you for being respectful of my platform. Thank you for not, using colorful language. I wanted to hear you out. I wanted more people to be able to hear your thoughts. I'm going to leave this just as it stands right now. The comment section is, I can't control the comment section. I don't even go down there. It's crazy.
Where do I read it? How do I read it? I love it.
The comment section will be in the video. The comment section, when the video is over, the comment section will be there, but you'll be able to see the chat room. But I appreciate it. And I'll ask you offline because how we connected, I'm going to actually talk to your friend too. I'll be doing more of these interviews because I think it's a good thing for the program or platform to get different points of view out. We don't always have to agree, but I will just say this. What you're saying, ma'am, I think is in the purview of having a formal relationship and a wife. And the only issue I have is, one, you don't sound grateful. Two, you said when the man, if he decided to end it, you'd fight him. That's when my red flags went up. I don't know why you want to fight somebody that's a friend that you were grateful to. That's the only thing I can't square.
Because you're not just gonna rip stuff from under me. That's my point.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
She is very selfish. I think that's an understatement, right? I get it, though. She's from New York. She has one of those grit and grind mentalities. She has no one is going to take advantage of me, or no one is going to just pull the rug from under me. But what she's not understanding is these things are dishonorable. And when faced with the question of honor, and she's speaking on other men, saying that this isn't honorable, that wouldn't be honorable, this would be dishonorable. When posed with the same question and reflected, now she doesn't see the dishonor in it, and she can't point out where she's being honorable. And you could tell she was having like a little mental lapse there at the end, because once she heard the question, she was like, wow, like this is a great question, because this is going to sit there lingering over my head while I have to come up with a fake excuse as to why what I'm doing is honorable. This is just insane. A man really can't provide much for a woman. The only thing that this man did smart was he put everything in his name. But a man can't do much for a woman under these type of circumstances. Because look, just take a look. I want the women that are watching this video to sit there and please tell the truth for once. Is this not insane? Do you see what men are going through? And when they're communicating these things and they're worried about these things, do you see what they mean? You can give someone a car and a place to stay, and they could be dealing with a whole other person, and that person is going to tell you, unless you sit there and let me keep this, I'm going to fight you regardless. Hey, as long as you let me keep this, you won't hear from me, but I'm going to fight you regardless if you try to take it from me. Is that fair? Specifically for the ladies, because I know a lot of ladies will watch this video. Do you believe it's fair if you were the breadwinner, you gave a man a place to stay in a car, and he told you that after 3 to 6 months, he may give up the car and the home or the apartment. But if you try to come at him for it, he's going to fight you. But he's going to be dealing with other women while he sits in the place that you bought, driving around a car that you bought, and you can't tell him nothing about it. Would you accept that? I think I know the answer pretty well. You're not accepting that. You are not going to sit here and let another man just live off of you, take advantage of you fully, take other women in said car and in said apartment, have a child, and then you're just going to sit there? No, exactly. You're not going to sit there and accept that. That's why this is asinine. This is crazy. There's no remorse, there's no honor, there's no respect, there's no appreciation, there's no grace for that man. He's a walking bill, essentially. I already know the men that are going to be watching this video already understand. But funny enough, there will be a few men that are going to sit there and that are going to agree with this and are going to say, yeah, she's right. I do believe you should support her for a couple of months. Once the relationship is done, if there are no children, that should be the end of it. That's how it works. You don't have to keep supporting a grown person to figure out their lives while they're dealing with other men on your dime. And it's crazy because what is her boyfriend even saying about this? If the boyfriend knows that she's being supported by another man and that other man is paying the rent and the car, what is he saying about this? If he's just sitting idle, that's another insane story I don't even want to unpack. Ridiculous. Well, so what type of president is this going to set? What type of precedent is this going to set? This is absolutely ridiculous. This woman wants to pretty much just live off of a man. By all means, she doesn't care about what he wants. She doesn't care about his goals. She doesn't care about anything to do with this man but the provision. And let her tell it, she believes she's strictly in the right. And her biggest thing is, you're not going to take anything from under me. And like Kevin said, those are two great points and plights that he had. One being that she doesn't sound grateful at all. And anyone, please comment down below. Do you think this woman sounds grateful in the slightest? Like, she appreciated this man for putting her in a position in which her and her child is able to live freely. No bills. And the second one is, this woman doesn't seem to care about fighting this man on getting this stuff back, the things that he has worked hard for. So then he's in a position in which he's forced to take care of an ex, not an ex-wife, just an ex-girlfriend and her child. Now imagine you were in that position and your ex-girlfriend and her child, you now had to provide for them. And we'll spin it on the women as well. Women, if you had an ex-boyfriend and you had to take care of him and his child forcefully, because if you then try to take him out that place, they're then going to just fight you for it. You would at least come, if she had any type of compassion, any type of heart, she would have at least said, you know what, I'll pay half. Matter of fact, if you even do this, I'll pay you back in full. But this woman she just wants to rip anything that she can from under other people. It's funny because the same thing she's complaining about, she's literally doing to other people. So where's the compassion? There's no grace, there's no compassion. This is just someone who just wants to drain every little thing she can out of a person. And then when talked about her looks going away, she wants quick fixes. I'll get my body done. I'll do this, I'll do that. Because she wants to stay up in this type of high maintenance tyranny and then continue to take from more people and more men.